Hey everyone, today we are here to talk about what it's going to take for you to be able to buy a home in Massachusetts in 2025 when you need a mortgage to get your house. So it's very competitive. As we all know, Massachusetts is one of the most desirable states in the country to want to buy a house. And the problem is there aren't a lot of homes for sale. There's a huge lack of new construction and just not a lot of sellers putting their home for sale. So it's a supply and demand dynamic where there's a much larger demand for people wanting to buy homes than there are people wanting to sell their home. And this creates a very competitive situation for home buyers. And you may have heard horror stories and you're wondering, how does anyone buy a house right now? What does it take to be able to get a house? Well, I'm going to tell you exactly what it takes, some strategies my clients have been using to win and to beat out the competition. So first of all, you want to buy a house. The number one thing I recommend you do is connect with a loan officer like myself. I'd be happy to talk to you and to go over your general plans for buying. Things like, what's your ideal timeline? Where do you want to live? What towns are you considering? What types of homes do you want? Do you want a condo, a single family, a multifamily? What are you looking for, right? From there, it's also important to talk about what your personal monthly budget is for a housing payment. So that's your mortgage, your principal and interest, your property taxes, your home insurance. If it's a condo or a home in an association, that also includes your HOA fee. What is your personal budget for all of that? Because as a loan officer, we can easily calculate what underwriting approves you for, and we can tell you what we can get you for a loan and what your monthly cost would be, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're personally comfortable spending that much. One example that comes up often is, say you have childcare expenses. We don't look at that as a debt because it's not a debt. It doesn't show up in your credit report. It's not an obligation that you owe as part of money that you borrow. So we're not looking at that as part of your debt to income ratio. But in real life, that could be one of your biggest expenses. And you are 100% factoring that into your expenses and what you can afford for a house. So stuff like that can distort our view of what you can afford compared to what you feel like you can afford. So it's super important to look at your own personal budget, look at your own finances, and come up with a plan and a budget of how much you want to be spending on a house, and to share that with your loan officer. Because now with that information, we can make sure you're looking at a price range that's going to line up well with your personal comfort level for a monthly payment. Like I said, we'll tell you what you're approved for and how high you could go if you wanted to, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to want to go that high. So you want to have this initial intro call with your loan officer to make sure they have a good understanding of your plans and your budget and what you're looking to do. From there, it's all about getting the information to the loan officer so we can do our job and tell you what's possible, what you're qualified for, what your credit supports, what your income supports, what kind of assets you need to be able to get a house. And for us, that's super easy. You can go onto my website, www.jasongr.com, or download our Rate app and do it right on your phone. You fill out maybe 10 to 15 minutes worth of info, things like, where do you live? Where do you work? How much money do you make? Dates of birth and social security number, address of any other property that you own. Very basic stuff that you'll probably know mostly right off the top of your head. Through our app, as you're filling it out, you can do things like automatically link up your employment and your income with our system. Same thing with your assets. And by doing that, now you don't have to provide us with pay stubs, W-2s, or bank statements, because we're getting that automatically from your employer and from your bank. So it's very efficient. It's super easy to do. Like I said, you can do it on your phone in 10 or 15 minutes. You hit submit. As part of that, we do a soft check of your credit report. The key here, guys, is that a soft check and a hard check are very different things for a credit report. With a soft check, it doesn't show up on your report as an inquiry. It doesn't show up that we checked your credit at all. But we're getting your credit scores, a full list of all your debts, your monthly expenses for that debt, everything we need to properly qualify you. With a hard inquiry, it does show up on your credit report as an inquiry, and it does ding your credit score. So we don't do it that way for the pre-approval. We do a soft check, and that way it doesn't have any impact on you at all. So you'll get your credit score right on our app as well as you're filling out the info. And then on my end, we get all this info into our system. We can analyze it and get back to you typically that same day, confirming how you look as a buyer, how much you're pre-approved for. As part of this, you'll get a pre-approval letter. You'll also get a summary from me on how much you should expect for closing costs. So you're going to know exactly what to expect for attorney fees, title insurance, as well as things like property taxes and home insurance that you're going to have due up front when you first get a home. So now you have a full budget for not just what you need for a down payment, but also what else is involved up front when you're getting a home and how much cash you need to have on hand. So now you're walking away with a full pre-approval letter, a full breakdown on costs, and knowing what monthly payment you're going to be expecting at a certain price range and what price range you should be looking in to keep your monthly payment at the level that you personally want to be at. From there, we take a lot of clients and we'll take their pre-approval one step further and have them fully underwritten, which can take one day. It's not a long process. But by having your documents that you've most likely already provided us with reviewed by underwriting, now you have a full underwriting approval using Rates Power Bid approval. So you have a Power Bid approval from us, which is a whole level higher than just a standard pre-approval. And it's going to make you look a lot better when you're making those offers on homes. So we'll talk about that more in a minute. But that's something we'll do with a lot of our clients is get them fully underwritten upfront, just to be that much more prepared and much more qualified as a buyer as you're getting out there looking at homes. So now, again, this can all happen in the same day that you have the intro call. You have the intro call, you go on my site, you fill out the info, you get the pre-approval, you get the cost breakdown. I tell you what we need to get you fully underwritten. We could even have that ready, if not the same day, the next day in most cases. So now you've done all this. You have your approval letter, you have your costs, you know what price range you want to be in. The next step from there is to go out and connect with a really good real estate agent. I know a lot of them right here in Massachusetts. If you don't have a good connection to one, I'm happy to set you up with someone. So now you have a real estate agent. You have all the info you need from me. You can get out there and start having fun, right? Start looking at homes, seeing what's available. Once you start identifying properties that you like, you're in position where you've already done all your homework up front. You're ready to act quickly. Now think about the buyer that is not pre-approved yet. They haven't gone through underwriting. They haven't even talked to a loan officer. They see a house they like. Now they're scrambling, right? They're trying to figure out their budget. They're trying to see if they're qualified. They don't even know what their credit score is. Like, they're trying to figure out all this stuff. And while they're working on all that, the house is probably gone. Somebody else already made an offer on it, because the buyers that are getting the homes are the ones that are prepared. They're coming in knowing their numbers up front and able to act quickly. So make yourself that buyer. Do the homework up front. Get prepared, so that way when you see a home you like, you're not missing out on an opportunity. You can act quickly, you can make the offer. So you see a home you like, you work with your real estate agent to get an offer submitted. The seller is not just looking at the price that you're offering. Obviously that's important, and that can make a big difference in getting your offer accepted, but they're also looking at other things, and this is where you can really stand out. So what my clients are doing is, one, they're getting that fully underwritten letter from me up front. By having that, you're not just pre-approved like most people, you're already underwritten. A lot of buyers don't do that until they have a house to buy. So by getting underwritten up front, the seller sees you as so much more qualified and so much of a safer bet, because you've already gone through underwriting. They don't have to worry about you coming back to them after they accept your offer and telling them that your loan got denied by underwriting. You've already gone through underwriting. They don't have to worry about that. So immediately you're ahead of anyone else that's only pre-approved. Number two, my team and I are really, really good at fast closings. We can close your loan in 10 days from offer to closing. By offering such a tight timeline, your offer is going to stand out. Most people are still closing in 3, 4, 5 weeks. So by closing in 10 days, usually it's the following week that you're closing, that's a huge difference maker. Because think about it, a lot of sellers have already bought their next home. They've already moved in a lot of cases. Now they're just trying to sell their old home. The faster they can sell it, the better it is for them. Because if you're able to buy it sooner from them, that's less days they have to pay their mortgage, if they have one, their property taxes, home insurance, utilities, all of that. So you're literally saving them money by closing faster. And they love the fast closing. So now you're coming in with a 10-day closing, a fully underwritten letter. You're working with Rate. Rate, the company I work for, we've been ranked #1 in Massachusetts in terms of the number of people we've been helping buy homes for the last 9 years now. People know us in the state because we have #1 market share. The real estate agents know us. A lot of sellers will know us as well. Also, I'm right here in Massachusetts, so I'm a local loan officer. You're not working with an online lender from Texas or California or who knows where throughout the country. So they have a comfort level knowing that it's a local person you're working with and it's the top company in the state. So by having a local lender, your underwritten approval, and a fast closing, you're really standing out. Now, another thing we're seeing clients do, and this can help make a difference, is not something you have to do, but I'm just telling you what works and what has been having success, is you can offer some language regarding the appraisal. So the seller may be really excited about the price you're offering, but in the back of their mind, they're saying, what if the appraisal comes in lower? Are they going to come back to us and try to lower the price in a week once they get the appraisal report back? Well, if you include appraisal gap language or you completely waive the appraisal clause, then that can again help strengthen your offer. Now, I don't recommend just doing that without knowing what it means or what impact it'll have on your loan, and that's something I can go over with you. So depending on your loan program you're using, your down payment percentage, there may be room where the value could come in lower and it won't have any impact at all on your loan. Or maybe it does. We'll go over that with you. We'll tell you what it means, and then you can decide if you're comfortable offering any appraisal gap language. In some cases, you can offer it without it having any impact on you at all. So it strengthens your offer and there's really no downside. Other cases, you can offer it, but maybe your monthly cost would be a little different, or maybe you have to come up with more for a down payment if it were to happen. So it's important to know the information, know the numbers, and then you can make an informed decision on if it's something you want to do to further strengthen your offer, and you can work with your real estate agent to include that language if you decide you want to. So again, it's something that clients are doing to help win, and that's all. I'm just telling you what strategies people are using. So these are all things that are making a difference and helping my clients win. When there's 5, 10, 20 offers on a home, they're winning in a lot of cases because they're doing these little things. So don't be like everyone else coming in with a online, out-of-state, pre-approval closing in 45 days. It's not going to work in most cases. You need to be doing these little things to really improve your chances and to be as aggressive as you can be. So reach out, have that intro call, fill out the info, get underwritten, and be ready to make aggressive offers and jump on the opportunities when they come on. February, the month we're in right now, is the lowest number of closings for the year. Every year that happens. February is the bottom. From there, it gets busier and busier every month. So that means there's more and more homes coming on the market each month, and more buyers that are active in the market each month. So as we're coming into the busier months, be prepared, be ready to roll, and you too can own a home here in Massachusetts using these strategies. Reach out, call me anytime. My website's www.jasongr.com. Fill out your online app. We'll have the intro call. We'll get you squared away and ready to use these strategies so that you can get your next home.